We'll call this council meeting to order at 6 p.m. I need a motion for adoption of the minutes, please.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held at City Hall on Monday, October 22nd, 2018, and the minutes of the inaugural meeting of council held at City Hall on Monday, October 29th, 2018, be adopted as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? And that's carried. We have one delegation this evening. We're going to hear from Judy Hughes from the PAWS organization. And Judy, the mic and the podium are yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you. Is this on? Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you tonight. We want to tell you a little bit about PAWS organization and then bring up a few concerns and issues and questions that we might have. PAWS was started in 2005. And we are a totally non-profit organization. We rely totally on donations and have no paid employees. Our mission statement is to improve the quality of life for stray and abandoned companion animals. We have made it our mandate to take in animals from the city pound as our first priority. Our board of directors consists of 10 people. Some are here tonight. We are all volunteers, and we couldn't function without our 50-plus volunteers from the community. These generous people perform many necessary functions for us. We operate out of a building at 121 12th Street Northeast, which is the old city pound. We purchased this property on October 2014. This is where we house our cats, and our dogs are in foster homes. We do have plans for a new building at this location and are currently continually fundraising for this. We're in the process of applying for an impact grant from the Community Foundation of Portage and District. So if anyone feels that they'd like to send us a support letter, we'll gladly take it. Thank you. Now, in order to bring a dog in, we need to have a foster family willing to take a dog for an unlimited amount of time. And at times, this is a challenge, as sometimes potential fosters are particular as to the kind of dog that they want to take in. PAWS supplies absolutely everything that is needed to the foster home. The cats come into our adoption center. First of all, they are tested for feline leukemia and then brought into our center and kept in isolation for 2 weeks. We only have 2 isolation rooms, so that restricts when we can admit new cats. All the animals in our care have been or will be inoculated, dewormed, treated for ear mites. Dogs are given rabies shots. Heart guard and tick medication is provided seasonally. All are spayed and neutered. We get most of our work done from the Portage Vet Clinic, who informed us the other day that we have put over 1,000 animals through their clinic. Our vet bills run between $2,000 to $3,000 a month. We have enormous support from businesses and citizens in Portage, and we are so appreciative of that. Besides taking in abandoned animals, we do presentations at schools for bite prevention, pet responsibility. We've donated books to elementary schools, donate cat and dog food to the Salvation Army, and we've assisted low-income people with pet food and getting them transported to Winnipeg to take part in the Winnipeg Humane Society low-cost spay and neuter program. Now, I'd like to bring up just a few concerns and issues. The location of the pound is a concern for people wanting to claim their pet or adopt a pet from the pound. Since no one can go there, they must rely on a picture to identify their cat or dog. Now, how many of us would want to adopt a pet from just a picture and not actually having met the animal? PAWS has requested a visit to the pound and have yet to be invited. Are there any councillors that have actually been to the pound themselves? Sometimes the condition of the animals that come to us after spending 2 weeks in the pound, they are still starving, many, not all, dehydrated, and cats are encrusted with litter at times. So that's a big concern. Communication has been an issue. Numerous times, emails and phone messages have not been returned. When asked about where some of the cats and dogs went after miraculously disappearing off the city website, we are told that the cats went to a rescue to a lady who helps out at times. Is this a real rescue, or are unspayed and unneutered animals just being relocated to clear out the pound? We asked to request where some of these animals went, which rescue they went to, and we were told they could not tell us this. So we're just wondering why this is, and who makes these decisions. Is it the pound keeper or animal control? Posting of the animals has really improved. Because your intake is 14 days, as soon as the animals are brought in, that's when the 14 days start. So the posting is crucial, that it's up on the website at exactly the same time the animal is brought in. At times, animal control have been late in bringing animals to the vet clinic. This has put a vet clinic behind schedule and impacts the volunteer that's been sitting there for up to an hour sometimes waiting to get this animal to the pound. This has improved in the last few weeks, so I'm glad to say that. Our big issue is the decision of the city to change their policy from attempting to be a no-kill facility to a kill facility. We do like the idea that the pound has changed from 72 hours to 14 days before euthanizing. However, we've run into problems with our 14-day isolation period for cats and your 14-day confinement period. We asked for an extension of a day and once for half a day so that we could get our isolation room ready. We were denied this, and the cat was delivered to the vet clinic to be euthanized. We were not notified. The clinic actually held the cat overnight for us to prevent putting it down. Now, financially, this doesn't make sense. It costs $50 plus taxes to euthanize a cat, and only a few cents to feed the cat for one more night. So we're wondering if the public is aware of your 14-day before euthanizing. Perhaps your website needs to stress that. PAWS seems to be doing a lot of work to help the city out. We've supplied lists of shelters to the animal control officers so they can search out. We've actually delivered cats from the pound into the city because animal control told us they're not allowed to take just one cat in there. We have spent hours calling rescues to try and see who can take a cat before it's killed. We do try to work cooperatively with the city, but it seems to us at times the cooperation is pretty one-sided. I guess the question we would like to ask is, what is the mandate of the city towards stray and abandoned animals? Is the job just to pick up strays and hold them for 14 days? If they're not claimed, have them euthanized? Or are you really concerned with getting the animals to a safe place where we know they will be spayed and neutered and not just passing the problem on to someone else? So I guess we want to thank you for the opportunity tonight, and if anybody would like to come visit our facility, we'd love to show you around. I will leave some business cards here for you, so thank you.
Did any members of council have questions for Judy? Since we last met, my understanding is the communication should improve. The animal control people have better updated phones. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, and thank you for PAWS. We have a pretty proactive partnership with them in regards to taking in animals. Our euthanized animals would be way higher if it wasn't for PAWS proactively taking the cats in. The 14-day period was put in place thanks to largely communication with PAWS, trying to work with their schedule in bringing in animals in a safe way, but it's also trying to balance the concerns of having many animals in a facility that frankly isn't just meant to have that many animals there for a long period of time. We've also worked with PAWS and taken suggestions in regards to taking catch and release programs, so catching male cats that are in cat colonies and neutering them and then putting them back on the same day to try and lower the wild cat population, which has been pretty proactive. We've also recently, and I think that's why communication has improved after our visit to the PAWS facility, provided some of our animal enforcement officers with smartphones so they can actually actively take the picture with their phones, put it onto the website as soon as possible, so can keep that 14-day period with the picture on the site as long as possible as they can. We've also asked PAWS, and they have definitely facilitate this, that we continue communication via email. So if there's anything dropped or there's any concerns, we have a complete record and we can see where those gaps are and try to improve them. So thanks to PAWS, they provide an excellent service and a very core group of passionate volunteers that are the backbone of dealing with some animals in our community in a proactive way. So my thanks to them.
I just want to thank you for coming out and doing the presentation this evening. And to members of the public, if you're thinking about getting a pet, I can tell you from firsthand experience, if you want to be a foster to a dog or a cat, these folks will provide absolute incredible support. And if you're adopting, the same thing. They'll come out and help you with everything from behavior to making the adjustments. And anyway, we appreciate all the work you do in our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have a number of public hearings this evening. We're going to open the public hearing for variation PC 7718. This is for Giesbrecht at 19 4th Street Northwest. Is there anyone here to speak in favor or opposed to the application?
Good evening. I'm Larry Giesbrecht, and we bought a house here about 3.5 years ago. Moved out from RM of Portage. We have a growing family with grandkids and all that. We needed more room, so we'd like to put a sunroom on the back of our house. And it's narrower than the house is, but still with the new laws, we are in violation of the distance from the property line, and we'd like approval of putting that sunroom in to our desired width. Thank you.
Did any members of council have questions for Mr. Giesbrecht? Okay, thank you, sir. Need a motion to close the public hearing?
Be it resolved that public hearing for variation PC 77-18 Giesbrecht, 19 4th Street Northwest, now be closed.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? And that's carried.
And so as we've heard, the issue this evening is to vary the north side yard requirement of 1.5 meters to be reduced to 1.01 meters. Larry and Phyllis Giesbrecht are applying for a variation order to vary the north side yard requirement. Applicants wish to construct a 4.87 meter by 7.9 meter three-season sunroom on the back of their house, as we have heard this evening from Mr. Giesbrecht. This building is in an R1 residential single-family zone. The application has been circulated to various city departments with no concerns. Public notices have been sent to all property owners within 100-meter radius. Therefore, it is the recommendation that the Council of City of Portage la Prairie approve the variation request of Larry and Phyllis Giesbrecht to vary the north side yard requirement of 1.5 meters to be reduced to 1.01 meters at the property known as 19 4th Street Northwest, which is legally described as lots 73, 74, Plan 17, Parish of Portage la Prairie. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Espy. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. We'll open the public hearing for variation PC 7918. This is for Bouchard's at 50 Alexander Avenue. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of or opposed to the application? Final call. Anybody to speak to the Bouchard application? 50 Alexander Avenue. Need a motion to close the hearing?
Your Worship, we do have a letter of support from the Bouchards. Would that be possible to be read?
Okay.
So this letter was sent to the Planning District. The above application for variation order is scheduled for the November 13th, 2018 hearing. We will be away at the time of the hearing and therefore unable to attend. We would like it known that we are in support of the variance request. Council approved the subdivision, minute reference 2018/0178, with the condition that this variation be approved. Sincerely, Andre and Angela Bouchard.
Okay, thank you.
And so, let it be resolved that public hearing variation PC 79-18 Bouchard, 50 Alexander Avenue, now be closed.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? And that's carried.
So the background on this is Andre and Angela Bouchard are applying for a variation order to vary the following: site width from the required 18.3 meters to be reduced to 15.24 meters for a proposed lot 3, excuse me, and site width for the required 18.3 meters be reduced to 18.288 meters for proposed lot 2 as per condition of subdivision number 4550-18-7731. The property is an R160 residential single-family zone. The application has been circulated to various city departments with no concerns. Public notices have been sent to all property owners within a 100-meter radius. Therefore, it's the recommendation that Council of City of Portage la Prairie approve the variation request of Andre and Angela Bouchard for the following: site width from the required 18.3 meters to be reduced to 15.24 meters for proposed Lot 3, and site width from the required 18.3 meters to be reduced to 18.288 meters for proposed Lot 2, as per condition of subdivision 4550-18-7731 at the property known as 50 Alexander Avenue, which is legally described as Lot 1, Block 2, Plan 2079, Parish of Portage la Prairie. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Knox. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. We'll open the public hearing for rezoning bylaw 18-8677. This is for Muirhead. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of or opposed to the bylaw?
Good evening, everybody. Congratulations on your recent victory in the elections. So what I'm planning on doing is...
Ryan, could you just state your name for the record?
Sorry, my name is Ryan Muirhead.
Thank you.
And I have approximately 6 acres, not quite 6 acres, just on Old Bridge Road. And it's right now zoned as agricultural, and I would like to split it up into 2 lots, and it needs to be rezoned to rural residential for that to happen. Do you have any questions for me?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muirhead.
So be it resolved that public hearing for rezoning bylaw 18-8677 Muirhead now be closed.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? And that's carried.
So as we've heard, as per the Planning Act, and after considering the results of a public meeting, Council must within 90 days choose one of the 3 actions to deal with the proposed rezoning bylaw amendment. If I go forward a little bit, the property in question is presently zoned as limited agriculture. The applicant, Mr. Ryan Muirhead, wishes to rezone this property to rural residential. The Portage la Prairie Development Plan policy states that land west of PR 240 within the boundary of City of Portage la Prairie, limited large lot rural residential use may be considered provided City Council is satisfied with the existing rural access. Continuation of private services and provision of limited urban infrastructure will not be added to the servicing or maintenance expenses of the City of Portage la Prairie, the Portage la Prairie School Division, or reduce the functionality of the provincial road network. And the location of lands within the boundaries of the City of Portage la Prairie designated rural residential under this policy are not contemplated under the plan to be urban in form or serviced in a full range of urban infrastructure services. The application has been circulated to various city departments with no concerns expressed. The application has been advertised in the Daily Graphic for 2 consecutive weeks, circulated to the province, and public notices have been sent to all owners of property within 100-meter radius of the proposed development, as per Section 168 of the Planning Act. First reading was given to this on September 10th, 2018 to commence the process as defined by the Planning Act in considering this application. As of writing, we have not yet received any written objections to the proposed rezoning scheme. Documents were circulated to provincial departments and agencies with no objections. Provincial planning recommends approval of the zoning bylaw. Therefore, it is the recommendation that the Council of City of Portage la Prairie approve the application to rezone the land known as 384 Old Bridge Road and legally described as Parish Lot 105, Parish of Portage la Prairie, from AL Limited Agriculture to RR Rural Residential, and that bylaw number 18-8677 be read a second time.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Knox. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried.
And finally, that bylaw number 18-8677 be read a third time, finally passed, signed, and sealed.
Moved by Councillor Draycott and seconded by Councillor Espy. All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Okay, we're going to move right into committees. First up is Finance, Legislative, and Property Committees, and tonight that's Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Finance, Legislative, and Properties Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. City Planning and Economic Development, Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening we do have reports for September 2018 building reports for information, both combined and for the city. These reports were reviewed at last committee meeting. And if there are any questions this evening, I can try to venture or ask for some input from the planning district. If not, we do also have third quarter reports for PRED, which were reviewed by Vern May at last committee meeting as well. And that is everything for City Planning and Economic Development this evening.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Draycott. Community Services Committee, Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening for Community Services Committee, we do have third quarter reports for PCRC, Parks, Heritage, and Public Art. We did hear from PCRC from Ms. Espy last committee meeting as well. Unless there are any questions upon review of those reports for new councillors or anybody else that might have questions from last meeting, then that is all Community Services has this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Draycott. Councillor Wall, Waterworks Committee, please.
Your Worship, Waterworks Committee has nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have one item tonight, and that issue is to close Crescent Road West, 20th Street Southwest, and Saskatchewan Avenue for the annual Santa's Parade of Lights. The Chamber of Commerce has once again requested road closures for the Santa's Parade of Lights, which takes place on Friday, December 7th, 2018. In 2017, a new staging location was used, with floats gathering in the Stride Place parking lot, then heading over the causeway, turning west down Crescent Road, then north on 20th Street Southwest. The parade began on Saskatchewan Avenue at 20th Street, heading east to 9th Street Southeast. This proved to be a successful route with no known issues, and the Chamber has requested the same route this year. The route will be closed to traffic beginning at 7 p.m. and will reopen behind the parade as it proceeds. The westbound lanes of Saskatchewan Avenue will also be closed for the convenience and safety of spectators. A detour route will be provided as follows: north on 10th Street Northeast, west on Lauren Avenue to McKay Avenue and 18th Street, then Gigot Avenue to 21st Street Northwest, then south to Saskatchewan Avenue. RCMP will control traffic at intersecting streets along the parade route. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council authorize the closure of Crescent Road West, 20th Street Southwest, and Saskatchewan Avenue in both directions between 21st Street Northwest and 10th Street Northeast for the annual Santa's Parade of Lights on the evening of Friday, December the 7th, 2018, beginning at 7 p.m., moving from west to east until the end of the parade, and that the the Chamber of Commerce parade organizers coordinate the road closure with Manitoba Infrastructure and Transportation, the RCMP, and City Operations. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Knox. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Espy. Public Safety Committee, Councillor Knox, please.
We have two reports that were reviewed at last committee meeting, for a third quarter report from the RCMP and third quarter report by bylaw enforcement. And I will try to answer any questions or if anybody has them.
Council, have any questions for the Chair of Public Safety? Oh.
That so ends my report.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Knox. We have no deferred business, but we have new business. First up, this first item is Finance. Councillor Espy, please.
Council meeting schedule for 2019. Council meetings are generally held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Each year, Council passes a resolution to set the schedule for the following year. Council meetings are scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. In accordance with the Municipal Act and the City of Portage la Prairie Procedure Bylaw, Council may change a council meeting and advertise accordingly. In proposing the 2019 schedule, consideration was given to the MMAA Annual Conference, April 28th to May the 1st, 2019, which does not affect the council meeting schedule. The FCM Annual Conference, May 30th to June 2nd, 2019, which does not affect the council meeting schedule. The annual convention of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities will be November 25th to 27th, 2019, which does not affect the council meeting schedule. A short summer recess from city council meetings, one meeting in July and one meeting in August. The dates that are statutory holidays are observed by city council and administration. It is the administrative recommendation that the council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the council meeting dates for the year 2019 as follows. Monday, January 14th, 2019. Monday, January 28th, 2019. Monday, February 11th, 2019. Monday, February 25th, 2019. Monday, March 11th, 2019. Monday, March 25th, 2019. Monday, April 8th, 2019. Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019. Monday, May 13th, 2019. Monday, May 27th, 2019. Monday, June 10th, 2019. Monday, June 24th, 2019. Monday, July the 8th, 2019. Monday, August 12th, 2019. Monday, September 9th, 2019. Monday, September 23rd, 2019. Tuesday, October 15th, 2019. Monday, October 28th, 2019. Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. Monday, December 9th, 2019. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Wall. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor? And that's carried. And the next item of new business is also finance. Councillor Espy.
The issue is the annual review and update of the city's fees and charges for 2019. Administration completes an annual break-even and competitive review analysis in order to compile a recommendation for next year's fees and charges. The 2019 schedule is attached with any fee changes identified. Beyond regular analysis used, the following changes are recommended. Fine inclusions. Past fees and charges did not reference the fine for non-compliance. These have been included in the 2019 to add efficiency to this process. Solid waste and recycling fees. These fees have remained the same since 2009. Quarterly fees billed to utility accounts will increase $1.25, and tags purchased for excess solid waste bags will increase to $2 each. Consideration of cost. In the past, the city has completed some property changes without fees, although this is not without cost to the city's operations. Several new fees were added for 2019. Easement agreements, garage sale violations, Board of Revision, applications, and movie set location permits. The city continues to add new electronic service requests and payment options where available and feasible. We do not expect to migrate to primary electronic payments. Receiving any and paying in 2019 are working with our municipal software provider on that change. It's a recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the 2019 fees and charges, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Braycott. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. The next new business is the third quarter financial report. This is also finance. Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. The city's fiscal year is the calendar year, with quarters being March 31st, June 30th, September 30th, and December 31st, which is also year-end. Commencing in 2018, administration has provided detailed financial statements to the City Council on a quarterly basis. Quarterly detailed financial reports for the City of Portage la Prairie include an analysis of significant variances and results to budget. The detailed quarterly reports include the statement of financial position and statement of operations, net for the city's general and utility funds, as well as detailed listing of the city's reserve and trust funds. This process will exclude quarter one, as the prior year's financial results are being finalized in this time frame, and the annual budget, including the year's financial plan, is not finalized until May. The city's finance department is using a team approach to meet and review individually with all directors, managers, and supervisors responsible for financial results in their own areas to determine any variance or significant budget gaps. On non-quarter months, July through November, the city's cumulative statement of financial position and statement of operations reports for the city's general and utility funds are provided on a summary basis for council approval. The general fund, significant variances projected cash flows to December 31st, 2018. The general fund is anticipated to be at budget by year end. There's a $350,000 pending transfer to the fuel tax to road construction debt expenses. The statement of financial position, property taxes receivable, reflects timing of tax payments, education levies payable, provincial education levy paid between August and December annually, statement of operations, and there's a breakdown with explanation there that I won't go into at length. Utility fund, significant variances. Statement of financial position, no significant variances. The current variance is expected to be reduced in quarter four as projected. There are some larger utility projects not completed in 2018 due to weather and other delays. Further, the city has a large construction projects underway at both the water treatment and wastewater plants and have impacted our resources ability to complete other projects. Statement of operations, no net significant variances. And reserve funds and trusts account listing, no significant variances noted. Changes to account balances are reflective of budgeted or regular activity. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the quarter 3 September 2018 financial statements, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Wall. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. New business item is the Animal Retention Facility Agreement, and this is the Public Safety Committee. Councillor Knox, please.
In October of 2017, an agreement with Jeffrey Dale Wiebe for Animal Retention Facility Services, which expired on September 30th, 2017, was extended. The renegotiated term for this agreement was from October 1st, 2017 to September 30th, 2022, and a monthly fee schedule to be paid by the RM and Portage la Prairie was established. The City of Portage la Prairie agreed to pay the rural municipality of Portage la Prairie a flat rate per year for the shelter of animals captured within the boundaries of the City of Portage la Prairie. In addition, there were certain conditions specified that must be met in regard to renovations of the garage area used for the animal retention facility. At Jeffrey Wiebe's request, a renegotiated agreement has been proposed. This agreement would be with Tabitha Christine Wiebe, and some changes have been made to the terms and conditions, animal allotment and contract obligations, and an updated fee schedule is outlined. The conditions specified in regard to the renovations to the garage have been met. This proposed agreement would be from December 1st, 2018 to November 30th, 2023. The proposed changes would increase the city's contributions as follows. Current monthly is $16.20. December 21st, 2018 would be $20.83. December 1st, 2019, $2,114, December 1st, 2020, $2,146, and so on. The recommendation is that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the renegotiated animal retention facility agreement with the rural municipality of Portage la Prairie and Tabitha Christine Wiebe, and authorize the mayor and city manager to sign this joint agreement for the period of December 1st, 2018 to November 30th, 2023. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Knox and seconded by Councillor Espy. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Item of new business is the award of tender for building maintenance services, and this is Finance Committee. Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The issue is to award the contract for provision of building maintenance services, tender number 18 OPS 028. Tender was advertised on the city website and local contractors were contacted. 2 tenders were submitted for the provision of building maintenance services for a 3-year period beginning December 1st, 2018 from Faithworks Renovations Limited and Quality Restoration and Renovations. Both were evaluated on the criteria as outlined in the tender document, and the results were shown in the table below. Quality Restoration and Renovations at an hourly rate of $95.82 scored 94.3 points. Faithworks Renovations, $110.22, scored 82 points. The contract outlines the work to include gyprock repairs, door repairs, ceiling tile repairs or replacement, minor painting, baseboard repairs, and minor maintenance issues. Based on the experience and qualifications of Quality Restoration and Renovations, administration is confident in their ability to perform these duties. There is an allowance for a CPI increase after the first year of the contract for each following year. Each city facility has budgeted for the building maintenance. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie award the contract for building maintenance services to Quality Restoration and Renovations for a 3-year period ending November 30th, 2021, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Knox. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Next item is the award of tender for electrical services. And again, this is Finance. Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. The issue is to award the contract for provision of electrical services, tender number 18 OPS 030. Tender was advertised on the city website and local contractors were contacted. 2 tenders were submitted for the provision of electrical services for a 3-year period beginning December 1st, 2018 from VNR Electrical and Point West Electrical Services. Both were evaluated on the criteria as outlined in the tender document, and the results were as shown in the table below. The total price is based upon a specific estimated number of hours for journeymen and apprentices for the term of the contract for proposal comparison only, and does not represent the real defined cost. The scores were VNR Electrical at a price of $55,347.40, scored 93 points, and Point West Electrical $74,907.70 for a score of 77.5 points. There is an allowance for a CPI increase after the first year of the contract for each following year. Each city facility has budgeted for electrical repairs. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie award the contract for electrical services to VNR Electrical Limited for a 3-year period ending November 30th, 2021, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Draycott. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. And the next item is also Finance. Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. The issue is to award the contract for the provision of plumbing services, tender number 18 OPS 032. The tender was advertised on the city website and local contractors were contacted. The only tender submitted for the provision of plumbing services was from Cobb's Plumbing and Heating Limited, who has done work for the City of Portage la Prairie on various small projects throughout the city, and administration is pleased with the quality of their work. The tender call did not provide an estimate of the total number of hours for journeymen and apprentices required for the 3-year time frame. However, the amount of work anticipated is relatively little. The hourly rate for a journeyman plumber remains at $65 per hour, unchanged from the current contract, which began in 2015. There is an allowance for a CPI increase after the first year for the contract for each following year. Each city facility budgets for plumbing work. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie award the contract for plumbing services to Cobb's Plumbing and Heating for a 3-year period ending November 30th, 2021. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Knox. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor? And that's carried. Next item of new business is the award for tender of HVAC maintenance services. And this is finance. Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The tender was advertised on the city website and local contractors were contacted. The only tender submitted for the provision of HVAC maintenance services was from Cobb's Plumbing and Heating Limited. Cobb's holds the current contract, and administration is pleased with the quality of their work. The tender call provided a list of city facilities requiring HVAC services with a description of the units they possess and the frequency of inspection and basic service each requires. The bid does not include materials. They are broken down with the corresponding bid amounts as follows, and I will go into great detail on all of these. Just kidding. As presented, I will leave that for people to look at. Service call hourly rates for a journeyman gas, electrical, and boiler serviceman along with apprentices remain unchanged from the current contract, which began in 2015. There is an allowance for CPI increase after the first year of the contract for each following year. Each city facility has budgeted for HVAC maintenance and repairs. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie award the contract for HVAC maintenance service to Cobb's Plumbing and Heating Limited for a 3-year period ending November 30th, 2021, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Wall. Any comments or questions on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Finally, our last item of new business is the award of water main extensions, and this is the Waterworks Committee. Councillor Wall, please.
Yes, Your Worship. The issue is the award of the tender for water main extensions on Oak Bay and Cedar Bay. The tender was advertised on MERCS with the Construction Association of Rural Manitoba and with the Winnipeg Construction Association. Local contractors were contacted. The tender opening was Friday, October 26, 2018. Sustainability factors were evaluated. The pre-tender estimate for this work was $727,283. The tender consists of the following work: approximately 430 meters of 150 millimeter PVC water main, approximately 100 meters of 50 millimeter PEX water main, 29 water service connections, and restoration work. This tender is the first phase of a 2-phase project. The second phase, which involves the replacement of a few hundred meters of the McMillan Industrial Park water supply main, is scheduled for the summer of 2019, assuming budget is approved. Construction of the work included in this tender is scheduled to start April 15, 2019, and be completed by June 15, 2019. This tender will be funded from the 2018 utility budget, $735,000. Associated engineering fees, $92,315 are also included in the budget. The administrative recommendation is, and I so move, that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie award the tender for water main extensions, Oak Bay and Cedar Bay, as specified in Tender 18 OPS 027, to the highest rated bidder, EF Moon Construction Limited, for the tendered price of $625,539.60, including taxes.
Moved by Councillor Wall and seconded by Councillor Draycott. Any questions or comments on the motion? Just one question, Councillor Wall. I don't know if you can explain this to me, but so the highest bidder was more than double. Why the big difference in the bid prices? Any explanation for that?
I'm not quite sure who this highest bidder is, Accurate HD. I know that Toll Construction and Moon Construction, for instance, have a lot of experience in this area. They know where they'll have to dewater, where they won't have to dewater, et cetera. And as you can see, their bids are very close and their ratings were very close. So it's a good competitive bid. And the others, I believe, are out-of-town contractors.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. We have no old business, so we are going to adjourn council at 6:45 p.m. and we're going to move right into committee. And people that don't know this, committee is open to the public. It's open to the media. Call committee to order at 6:45 p.m. First up is Finance Legislative Property Committee. Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Finance, Legislative and Properties Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. City Planning and Economic Development Committee. Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. City Planning and Economic Development Committee has nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Community Service Committee. Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. We do actually have a presentation this evening from the Local Immigration Partnership. I would like to invite Michelle Cudmore-Armstrong and Marianne Woods to the podium.
Good evening. We're going to tag team tonight.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing us to come and present to you. We're very excited to be here. Also excited to see everybody behind us also, so not trying to keep my back to you, but in acting you're not supposed to do that, but I guess I'm not acting today. However, we're here to present, and Marianne is our co-chair of our Portage la Prairie Local Immigration Partnership, and I am the coordinator of such this project is. So you're probably asking, what are they? Oops, I did something wrong. Looks that way. This way? So we do have packages that are going around, so you can follow on there if you don't have it on your screen, but maybe you do already. So the Local Immigration Partnership is a 3-year contract that's through Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada. And we have a 3-year contract through Portage la Prairie Community Revitalization Corporation. It's a big name, PCRC. And it's being held by PCRC, and they hold this contract, and it's a 3-year contract, and it's approximately $300,000 that comes into our community to do good work for the newcomers that are coming to Portage la Prairie to reside. IRCC, which is Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship Canada, likes these LIPs, that's what we call them, Local Immigration Partnerships. They like to form them. We have 3 of them in our province right now. We are lucky to be one of the 3. The first one was in Winnipeg, and the second one was us here. So yay, we got one. And the third one was in Morden, Winkler. And there are currently a couple other places that are trying to get one, but have not been successful yet, but they are still in the works, and that might be Steinbach and Brandon, as well as others that are looking into it right now. So we are one of the leaders in the Local Immigration Partnerships, so it's very exciting news. This is the things that basically that LIPs do, and the one that's really important for you, it's an avenue to help better integrate immigrant needs in municipal planning, because they become part of our community. They need to be integrated, they need to become part of the community, and that's not just going to work and going home and doing nothing. That's becoming involved in our community, becoming involved in the municipalities, becoming involved in extracurricular activities. Wouldn't it be boring if you just went home every night and did absolutely nothing and you had no outside experiences, or you weren't invited to go somewhere or be part of the community? This is what this is all about. our community becoming more welcoming and inclusive to everybody. If we're welcoming to our newcomers, our whole community will become more welcoming to even newcomers coming from different provinces, maybe not overseas. It all works together as a snowball effect. Let's go here. Oh, sorry guys. Make that smaller again. So where do they exist? Right now they are in every province. We don't have any data on Quebec, but there's over 75 of them. Like I said, we are privileged to have one right here in Portage la Prairie. They're all across Canada and growing. This is what the federal government wants to happen in regards to immigration and welcoming and being inclusive. Our PLIP Council, which the mayor here is also part of, you can see how many different people are stakeholders around our PLIP Council, and those are the Portage la Prairie Local Immigration Partnership Council members. They're stakeholders from all the big sectors. We've got people from Southern Health, we've got the mayor, we've got the REEV, we've got the RCMP, we've got Francophone representation, we've got businesses, different entities such as research and daycare specialists. So if you can see that, that's all on your screens there, and the names of the people who attend. We have a meeting once a month, except we don't meet in the summer, but we meet 10 times a year, and we meet on the third Friday of every month at Red River College, here at the campus, and we discuss things that are coming into our community that we may or may not know about. Okay, what can you share about economics? What can you share about new businesses that are coming in? What can you share about, do you have more immigrants coming into the Portage Learning and Literacy Center that does settlement for our entire community? And they share all these details with us so that we all know what's going on and we can better plan for our community here to becoming more welcome and also to fill those gaps that we know are out there. And I'll let Marianne talk about the gaps.
She's a tough act to follow. I don't know if she's an actor or what. Very animation, thank you. So now I'm going to fail miserably at this part, I think.
That's terrible too.
So I thought we could update you a little bit on some of the work that's been underway. So as a committee, we're really starting to gel together, I think. We've almost a year that we've been meeting, and we've done some great work working on a strategic plan. So we had, you know, your storming, forming, all those things that you do when you get a new group together. And we've done a lot of work brainstorming, and we're hoping that our strategic plan will be finished in the next couple of months. We're just doing some fine-tuning on that, and then once it's done, we're going to present that forward. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you. You might also remember that we had a forced to flee simulation here in Portage. I'm not sure if anybody was able to attend that. That was a really great experience that we had. We had about 90 people that participated in that. And we wanted to give just a little bit of a taste to people of what it would be like to be someone who had been forced to leave your home. So forced to flee under not very good situations. And I think people went away with just a tiny little taste of what that would be. It's really hard to simulate that exactly because, you know, we're nice and warm and we're in a comfortable setting and we have a beautiful lunch, but it gives you some things to think about what other people may be experiencing.
And MCC said that it was the biggest simulation they have done in Manitoba. The next biggest one was only 60 attendants in Winnipeg.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So this is just a little bit of information for you guys. These are the top 10 countries across Canada, or across Manitoba, sorry, and where the most immigration is coming from. So in Manitoba as a whole, you're seeing Philippines, we have a large immigration coming from there. India is the next biggest one, and Eritrea. So those are the top ones that we're seeing in Manitoba as a whole. And then for us, where are we seeing them coming from in Portage? So our top countries are the top 5, the Philippines and India, Germany, Pakistan, and Ukraine. And we thought we'd also share how much newcomer services are being, and settlement services are going through the office of the Portage Learning and Literacy Center in the last year and a half. It's a very small organization, but they're very mighty and they do a lot of work. So they have had 523 clients that they have assisted, which is a lot for a very small organization. 398 of those have met the criteria that are eligible for services. because it all depends on what your immigration status is, who can access services. 125 were not eligible for assistance unless we could find volunteers to help them with that. So they've got a very active volunteer component that works with them. So people that don't qualify under the government structure as saying you're eligible for services, they try and hook them up with a volunteer to help provide similar services wherever they can.
That's okay. So this is what IRCC puts out for 17 characteristics of a welcoming community. So you can just read those at your leisure, but I'll just point out a few. Affordable and suitable housing, positive attitudes towards immigrants, cultural diversity, and the presence of newcomers in the community. Municipal features and services sensitive to the presence and needs of newcomers, and political participation opportunities, safety, recreation. So all of these things, if we can establish all 17 of these, we have become a totally welcome community. And that's for newcomers as well as our current citizens. Next one. So then we have another component that is the Immigrant Advisory Table. The Immigrant Advisory Table is a group of 9 people who come and they give me their lived experience. They talk about what we can do better here, what we're doing well here, because surprisingly, we are doing a lot of things well also. And so we can magnify the good stuff and hopefully minify the bad stuff and make it better. So they give me their lived experiences, and we meet every about 2 to 3 months based on who can attend. And it's very exciting. They come from different countries such as Syria, Germany, El Salvador, Morocco, Pakistan, Philippines, and India. That's who we have represented right now. But I do anticipate that I may see a couple new ones this week because we're meeting again. So always building on their experiences so we can bring it forth to our committee. And there's 2 of the immigrants that are on that committee that also attend our local Immigration Partnership Committee, also the council. And they come and they are kind of the bridge between the two so that their message is getting across, because we can't do it without their lived experience, you know? So we did a questionnaire for our Immigrant Advisory Table, and these are 7 questions, and we're just going to highlight just a few on each, and they're all in front of you, but they were really interesting to find out what they felt we were doing well, what we could improve on. So why did you move to Portage la Prairie? They said, oh, I guess we're going to change spots again, sorry.
She's hogging the floor.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So some of the top answers: why did you move to Portage la Prairie? Found a job here in like a small town. So, you know, that speaks to how you would stay, right? Another one, I visited my dad here and fell in love with the country and it felt like home right away. So those are the kind of positive things you want to hear. What 3 things do you like about Portage la Prairie? It's a small town with enough jobs and easy to move around in. Very quiet and beautiful town with lots of extracurricular activities. So again, those are the things that make people want to stay and not just come for a short period of time. What 3 challenges were the most difficult when you moved to Portage la Prairie? I have to say transportation keeps coming up for folks. And also, people, they're experiencing a fair bit of discrimination. People are not always open-minded and do not always accept differences. And I think that is some work that we have to do. And we recognize that as a committee, and so that is one of the things that we are going to be working on in our strategic plan, is how do we do that? How do we make our city more welcoming and inclusive for everybody to come here?
And then we had, if you had the power of magic, what 3 things would you make happen in Portage la Prairie for yourself and other newcomers to feel more connected to the community? Have accessibility to a community garden. Check, we did that. Public transportation, working on that. More housing, affordable houses. More job opportunities and daycare spots. That may be coming up also. And then, do you feel safe in Portage la Prairie? It was a mixture. Yes, no, a little bit of both. So some feel very safe, and some are a little bit frightened in the evenings or on Saskatchewan Avenue in the winter. They said our driving is terrible. But anyways, that was just their thing. But you can read the answers. And then the last question was, what other businesses, organizations, activities, or events do you think Portage la Prairie needs? So there was a lot of good answers. Restaurants that have healthy choices in food and drinks. A center for trades where people can learn different types of trades to get a good job. Perhaps a full mall. More daycares, again, bus transportation. A mosque. More women's-only activities. So these are things that came up as a wish list if they could have something happen. A cricket field was another one that was brought forth, and there has been a bit of work done on that also. Next one. So what they have done is they created a list of ethnic and international foods that are not being carried by local grocery stores. We compiled this list and gave them to all of the grocery stores in Portage la Prairie. Now, they have told me just recently, when James and I were at, talking about the elections at the Portage Learning and Literacy Center, that the foods are getting better. They're getting more variety, but it still could be stepped up a little bit more. So we will be approaching them again with more lists of things that are needed, such as halal meats and things like that. They want to spend their money locally. They don't want to have to drive into Winnipeg for all of their needs. So we're really trying to get everybody on board and create that connection, because that's an easy win. And community gardens, as I said, were set up by the PRRA and PLL, Portage Learning and Literacy Center, based on suggestions from the immigration table. And we are working possibly with the PRRA to create a cricket pitch or figure out where it could be situated. I think that is still in the works, even though there have been a few roadblocks. But that would be great. Why not? Why doesn't Portage host a cricket match instead of everybody having to go into Winnipeg all the time? Bring the money out here. Bring the dollars out here. Let's enhance our economic boost.
So as part of our strategic planning, these are some of the gaps we identified, some of the work left to do. So we're looking at creating a diversity, equity, and inclusion plan, and looking at policies that are currently under the local municipal government to see if there's any areas that we can flag for things to consider. We're collaborating with our provincial LIPs. It's been brought forward that there is a concern that they would like to be able, permanent residents have said to us they'd like to be able to vote in municipal elections. So as a group, the LIPs are working together to bring a resolution to the AMM to see if that's something that they could change for the next municipal election. They say they live in our communities, they have a vested interest in what goes on here, they really want to be part of the voting process. Some of them are choosing not to become permanent or Canadian citizens because that affects maybe their pension in their home community or something in their originating community, but they fully want to live here and stay here. So that is something that we are looking at. We're also looking at creating some working groups to work on projects that we've identified in the strategic planning that would help to attract and retain newcomers. And some of those areas are transportation, childcare, affordable housing. How do we become a more welcoming and inclusive community, diversity training, so things like that. And then we're anticipating that we'll release our strategic plan in January. So that kind of in a nutshell is it for us. We would be happy to come back when our strategic plan is done, if you would like, and talk about what we identified. So if you would like that, please welcome us back. We're happy to come back. Do you have any questions for us?
Questions for Council? Councillor Knox?
I know you're federally funded, so when does your funding end and have you been renewed?
The funding will end in 2020. However, there is a call for proposals which will be coming up probably February or March that I'll be rewriting a proposal for a grant, and that one should be a five-year grant. That's what we're hopeful for. They're increasing them from a 3-year to a 5-year. They want to see more work done in the communities and continuous work, because you can't get the ball started if it always gets stopped. So that would be exceptional if we could get funding for 5 more years.
Great, and congrats on the work you do. So.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Council? Councillor Draycott.
Just a comment. I'd like to congratulate you on having a really great program that's on the go here. You are very prominent in social media, which I think is really a benefit to many of the people that you're delivering information to, because sometimes it's hard for us to see who's in the community, how they got here, and easy for some of us to not have these issues be our issues because we don't have to deal with a lot of the things that you're talking about. I really appreciate the diversity of your council. You have so many people on this list that it's, well, why would that be there? Until you get to the back of your report and you're like, oh, well, that should probably have that oh, they're on the council. So great job in that, and congratulations on the work you're done. I'm looking forward to reading your strategic plan and seeing where you're going forward. So thank you for coming tonight for the information for us.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I guess the last one is mine. First of all, I really want to thank your organization for everything that you've been doing, helping Portage become a more inclusive, welcoming community. And as we do that, we will grow and we'll become more prosperous at the same time. And love to have you back to present your strategic plan after January. And just give us notice when it's ready. And yeah, we'll keep all of council up to date on it.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And further, for Community Services Committee this evening, Your Worship, I would like to invite Youth Councillor Agarwal to give us an update on what's going on in your end.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the Mayor and all the councillors for giving me this opportunity so that I may learn from all of you and contribute to the community. Before I go further, I would like to thank Mr. Kostychuk, who is actually here in the building. He was the first one to give me the opportunity to start my endeavors in public affairs, which has led me to who I am today. I want to take this position very seriously, and that means that I will strive to excel, serve with humility, and lead with integrity. I would like to take this moment to introduce my 3-point agenda, which focuses on the coming months. So the first thing I would like to work on is youth crime. Find out the root causes of why it's happening, why it's increasing, suggest potential solutions and actions to reduce it after thorough research. The second thing I want to do is increase youth engagement. I'm in the process of creating a city-wide club called Empathy, where youth will go to senior homes every day, Friday or Saturday night, not every day, every week, and do a variety of things like sing, play an instrument, and spend time with our seniors. I believe that it is the youth's responsibility to connect and take care of our seniors. I've been doing this for the past 2 years, and now I want to make it a club so that other youth can also get involved. Empathy will not only oversee in the community for seniors, but also for small children and teenagers in Portage. As we are all aware, Christmas is coming up, and there are many children who won't be receiving Christmas gifts because their parents can't afford it. As council, we should ensure that every kid in Portage la Prairie who cannot afford a gift should at least get one gift from the city of Portage. I will be sourcing $10 to $12 Christmas gifts at the wholesale rate of $5. You can choose how many gifts you want to send to kids in Portage with the tag that will have your name on it. Imagine a kid getting a present from the mayor, from Councillor Draycott, from Councillor Espy, and I can imagine the smile on their beautiful faces and how they swell with pride. I believe donating starts at home, which is why, if allowed, I want to donate $100 from my budget for this noble cause. $100. That's 20 kids. Remember, your $100 could bring a smile on 20 beautiful faces. I would appreciate if all members of council join me in this noble initiative. I will encourage the citizens of Portage la Prairie, businesses, the Rotary Club, PCRC, schools, the Chamber, PATC, all the boards that I am on, and all the organizations in Portage la Prairie to do the same. To determine who can't afford Christmas gifts, we will have a Facebook page that people can sign up on. We will also go around Portage la Prairie and the reserves to make sure that no child is left behind. We will have a box that will stay here in City Hall where we will put the bought gifts with the name tag of who they are from. Of all the number of kids who can't get presents, let's make that number 0. I urge all of you to donate $100, and if that's too much, you can donate less, to achieve the maximum impact and do better for the youth of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Youth Councillor. And that concludes my committee report.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Draycott, and thank you, Youth Councillor, too. Waterworks Committee, Councillor Wall.
Waterworks Committee has nothing this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one item coming up at the next council meeting, and that's a change in the process, a proposed change in the process for street lighting installation requests. Normally this would come to council, but we're looking at changing it so that it can go to the city manager and or the director of operations to improve street light installations. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions for Councillor Espy on that? Public Safety Committee, Councillor Knox, please.
Nothing to report, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Now, before we conclude and adjourn committee, we're going to have question periods. So we'll take questions from members of the public in the gallery. If you have an information-seeking question, I'd ask you to come on up to the podium and ask your question. Evening, Mr. Knott.
Evening, Mayor Ferris, councillors. Can I first give a kudos to 2 organizations. One, the PCI, pardon me, and the grade 9 students who went to the No Stone Left Alone and got a terrific report from national TV and global national. I just think that was a terrific, whoever organized that did really well. And the second kudo I wanted to give is reading all the reports is the PCRC committee's report, which is extensive and filled with colored photographs and very well written. I just thought it was nice. So I have several questions. What's new? Each year I ask council if there is a plan to actively recruit people from the community who are qualified for various citizen advisory committees. Again, this year it seems that that hasn't been done. Does council, the new council, have a plan or an idea, or have you considered making a decision to actively recruit people from the community for your advisory committees, which you are about to approve in the organizational meeting?
Okay, council, the new council had not had those discussions yet. Probably having those discussions in the years. So the answer to your question as of tonight, Mr. Knott, is the same as it was last year.
I'm sorry to hear that. What are the plans in council for communication for the next year? In the sense that, will you be advertising in local newspapers, both paper and electronic? Will you be advertising on radio about information to do with council? Or will you be only relying on the once every quarter glossy 4-pager?
Well, there's I think the glossy 4-pager is the council briefs, the newsletter that's sent out. At this time, that will continue. Every week on Friday, I think just before noon, a member of council will be on CFRY radio talking about the issues that are current that week. That program is called This Week in Portage. And there will be a lot of other ways council continues to communicate with the public, certainly. Facebook and social media and all those ways. Citizen information page once a month, delivered to every home.
A follow-up question to that, Mr. Mayor. Is there a specified budget for this kind of communication?
Yes, there is.
I shall search diligently for it.
Okay.
Following on again from reading today's information, it struck me that my perennial question about the planning department, the planning advisory board, has 6 politicians on it, 3 from council and 3 from the RM, and a staff person. The city does not have a qualified city planner. The city does not have a proper plan. The city has a hodgepodge of a variety of things historically and otherwise. But I look at today, this year's year-to-date of the finance that has been reflected in the figures, that is for new and repairs in the city, and there's 263.
Mr. Knott, could I ask you your question?
Yes, I'm leading up to it, sir. There's 263 items totaling $70.5 million. As this is $70.5 million investment in the city this year, would you consider that it is essential to have a proper city plan?
Actually, a plan was completed this last year. There was open houses and a number of things, and that, Mr. Brooks, would you like to comment on that?
I guess I'd need some clarification. Are you talking we're working on a new development plan for the city? It's had, like the mayor has stated, did have open houses. It's coming up for first reading at our board meeting this month, and there will be another public hearing held for anybody who wants to attend to speak at it.
Okay. Any other questions from the gallery? Evening, Mr. Kostychuk.
Good evening. My name is James Kostychuk. This is my first time asking a question. I watched something remarkable tonight, and that was a very well-prepared presentation from PAWS to get a well-prepared response from the city. And that was done on the public record. And I think that's the very best that we can expect from democracy. I don't feel that way about question period. Question period extends the working day of everyone at this table to sometimes watch charades or to sometimes answer a question that you've already answered during the working day. The delegation process works because it forces decorum on the proceedings, and it also is a wise use of tax dollars because it filters out political grandstanding. My question is, will the Mayor and Council consider eliminating question period?
And the answer to that is yes, we will consider that.
Thank you.
Other questions from the public? Well, going once, going twice. Committee is adjourned at 7:17 p.m. and we're going to move right into the organizational meeting. We'll call the organizational meeting to order at 7:18 p.m.
First item, Your Worship, is the appointment of the Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with Section 142-2 of the Municipal Act, Councillor Brent Budds be appointed the Deputy Mayor from November 13th, 2018 to the next organizational meeting of City Council.
I have a mover and a seconder for the motion, please. Moved by Councillor Knox, seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? That's carried.
Next item, Your Worship, is the appointment of the acting deputy mayor. Be it resolved, the following be appointed as acting deputy mayor from November 13th, 2018 to the next organizational meeting of council. From November to December, Councillor Draycott. From January to February, Councillor Espy. March to April, Councillor Knox. May to June, Councillor Meyer. July to August, Councillor Wall. September to October, Councillor Draycott.
Thank you. And could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Draycott moved and seconded by Councillor Espy. All those in favor? And that's carried.
Next item, Your Worship, appointment of standing committees. Be it resolved that appointments to standing committees be approved as follows. Finance, Legislative Property, Councillor Buds, Councillor Espy. City Planning and Economic Development, Councillor Meyer, Councillor Buds. Community Services, Councillor Draycott and Councillor Knox. Waterworks, Councillor Wall, Councillor Draycott. Transportation, Councillor Espy, Councillor Meyer. Public Safety, Councillor Knox, Councillor Wall, and that the mayor is a member of all committees.
Okay, if I could have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Knox, seconded by Councillor Espy. All those in favor? And that's carried.
Next item, Your Worship, appointment of special committees. Be it resolved, the following appointments to special committees be approved. Budget Committee, Mayor and Council. City Manager's Evaluation Committee, Mayor and Council. Emergency Control Group, Mayor and Council. Board of Revision, Mayor and Council. Chair of Board of Revision, the Mayor. Secretary of Board of Revision, Manager of Administration. Tax Sharing Committee, Mayor and Council.
And could I get a mover for the motion? Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Draycott. All those in favor? And that's carried.
Next item, Your Worship, appointment of ad hoc committees. Be it resolved, the following appointments to ad hoc committees be approved. Chamber of Commerce and Positively Portage, Councillor Meyer. Portage Regional Recreation Authority, Mayor Ferris, Councillor Buds, Councillor Espy. Citizen appointment, James Bolton. Portage Regional Economic Development, Councillor Buds, Councillor Draycott, Councillor Meyer. Ex officio, City Manager. Heartland Community Futures, Heartland Community Futures, Councillor Meyer. Citizen appointment, Liz Dreger. Regional Library Board, Councillor Wall, Evelyn Braun, James Kostachuk. Portage and District Hospital Foundation, Mayor Ferris, Lynn Bariza, Dale Lyle. Queen Elizabeth Scholarship, Mayor Ferris. The PCI Principal, West Park School Principal. The Heritage Committee, Councillor Wall, James Kostachuk, Brian Barrett, Cynthia Jordan, Greg Roberts. RCMP Community Consultative Committee, Councillor Knox, Councillor Wall. Planning District Board, Mayor Ferris, Councillor Buds, Councillor Espy. Regional Landfill Board, Councillor Wall, Councillor Knox, Councillor Meyer. Dangerous Animal Hearing Committee, Fire Chief, City Manager with a veterinarian to be named. Fort Lorraine Museum, Councillor Draycott. Public Art Committee, Councillor Meyer, Roberta Christensen, David Omchensky, Carol Lupowski, Krista Austin, Victoria Espy, Margaret Bernhardt-Loden, Cindy McDonald. Parks Committee, Councillor Draycott, Councillor Espy, Steve Hildebrandt, Gord Zacharias, Diane Stasiuk, Lynn Parker, David Sattler, and Vienna Lopez.
Thank you. I have a mover. Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? And that's carried. And the organizational meeting is adjourned at 7:23 p.m. Thank you for coming out, everybody.